Okay, hi guys. We're talking about special right triangles today. So excited. Trig is one of my favorites. Not as a student, though, I will tell you that. Did not like it as a student. So super, super important. These 45, 45, 90 triangles. And also 30, 30, I'm sorry, 30, 60, 90 triangles. Memorize these triangles. I'm not a big memorization person, but I think this is one of those things that you just have to memorize, okay? So we want to find the missing side lengths, and we want to leave them in simplest radical form. Okay, so we have a lovely triangle here. We're given a 45-degree angle. I'm going to write my reference triangle, and I'm going to draw it in the same type of orientation as the one that was given to me, okay? So it looks just like the one that was given to me. This is 45 degrees. This is 45 degrees. We know that opposite of 45 degrees, here's another thing I say. 45, 45, 90 is a 1, 1, square root 2 triangle. 30, 60, 90, which is going to be coming up next, is a 1, 2, 3 triangle. The last number is square root on both of them. Okay, so 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Square root, square root. The hypotenuse is always the 2 of some sort. So a 45, 45, 90, here's your 2. That's your hypotenuse. 1, 2, 3, here's your 2. This is your hypotenuse. Again, this will make sense. We're going to talk about that in the next video. Okay, so here's our lovely reference sides for this angle is a 1, 1, 2. Opposite of 45 degrees is going to be 1. If this is 45 and this is 90, then this has to be 45. Opposite of 45 is 1. Hypotenuse is always square root of 2. Square root of 2. So now we have two similar triangles, correct? With similar triangles, we can do proportions. So I want to find x and y. So let's go ahead and just do x first. So we have this hypotenuse over a leg that we know. I don't want to do a ratio with x and y because that's two unknowns. So we want to always do one that we know. Okay, so we're going to go x and 2 equals what corresponds with it. Well, x is the hypotenuse here on our reference triangle. Root 2 is our hypotenuse. 2 is the leg here. 1 is the leg on our reference triangle. Cross multiply. X times 1 is x. 2 root 2. We're just going to leave as 2 root 2. So now we have our x value, which simplest radical form. That's it. We can't simplify root 2. Okay. So same thing, we want to go ahead and find y now. So we're going to talk about y down here. We could use this guy. We could use x. We know it. But it has a root 2 in it, which is fine. It's just not the prettiest. So let's not do that. Let's do this guy because 2 is much prettier of a number than 2 root 2. Okay, so we're going to set up another ratio. So I'm going to go y over 2. And then use this triangle. Y is on the bottom, so I'm going to use 1. 2 is our other leg going up and down. 1. Cross multiply, so y times 1 is y, 2 times 1 is 2, so we have 2 is our other side length that we're looking for. Okay, so then let's look at this guy. So like I said, we're going to draw a reference triangle in the same orientation that they gave us. So they have this triangle looking like this, so let's draw another one looking like that. Okay, turn your paper if you need to make it a little bit easier. Here's your 90 degrees, here's your 45, here's your 45. Going back to what we talked about, a 45 is 1, 1, root 2, right? 2's are always in the hypotenuse. So if you look at this awesome triangle we just drew, hypotenuses are always opposite of the right angle. So this is the square root of 2. Opposite of the 45s is going to be 1. So here's our reference triangle to this triangle. Okay? We need to go ahead and find the variables. We can't do v and then u to 1 and 1 because that's two variables that we don't know. But we could do v to 3 root 2. Again, you could ratios and proportions, we could set them up lots of different ways. So if you had 3 root 2 over v, that's fine too. So v is down here. 1 corresponds with it, so I'm going to put 1 on top. V's on top, 1's on top. Those guys always have to correspond. 3 root 2 and root 2. Crisscross them. So we get root 2 times v. 1 times 3 root 2 is just 3 root 2. Whoop, not 3 root 3, 3 root 2. Okay, root 2 times v. So the opposite of multiplication is division. Take this scary looking thing and make it into something easy. If I were to just say this was 2 and v and you needed to solve for v, you'd be like, okay, no biggie, right? We just divide by 2. Take something complicated, make it into something pretty that you're very, very comfortable with, okay? So if I would divide this guy by 2, I'm going to divide this guy by the nastier number, which is still the same exact operation. We're just going to divide it, okay? So those guys cancel, but what you do to one side, you have to do the other. Because there is no addition or subtraction in here, it's strictly multiplication, you can cancel those out. If that was 3 plus root 2 divided by 2, you cannot cross that out, okay? Don't do it. You can't do it because it's a binomial. Okay, enough with the side notes. Here we go. So we get v equals 3. Well, we can do another ratio and solve for u, but you know if your reference triangle has the side lengths are the same, then these lengths are going to be the same. Once you found one, you know what the other one's going to be. It's 3. So we also know that u is 3. If you don't see that, which is going to take some time to see that, that's fine. Write another ratio out. So we'll do 3 root 2 over u. And we talked about the top one, so we're going to go the top one on the other triangle. And then we're on the side on the right, over the side on the right, crisscross. Root 2 times u equals 3 root 2 times 1. Divide by root 2, divide by root 2. There you go. It's going to take a little bit of time for you to see that what these are always the same. And if you didn't, that's fine. Take 2 more seconds and solve it out. Okay, another one. We got a 45, 45, 90 on this one again. Let's draw our reference triangle, the same orientation that we had. So 45s are here. So 45 opposite of 45 is 1. 45 opposite of 45 is 1. Hypotenuse is the square root of 2. Okay, we need to set up our first ratio. Can't do x and y, but we could do x and 5 root 3 or y and 5 root 3. Let's just go x and 5 root 3. So x is on top, root 2 is on top when we look at our reference triangle. 5 root 3 is the side on the right. 1 is the side on the right. Let's cross multiply these guys. So x times 1 is x. 5 root 3 times root 2. Remember, rules of radicals means you, for multiplication, you're going to multiply the coefficients in front. So I have 5 and technically 1. So 5 and 1 is 5. And then you're going to multiply the radicals, the numbers inside the radical. So it's going to be square root of 3 and 2 multiplied together is 6. 6 we can't break down. There's no pairs that come out of 6, so we're good there. Okay. Okay, then let's find y. y over 5 root 3 or 5 root 6, whatever we want, but let's do 5 root 3 equals 1, and then 5 root 3 corresponds with 1. So 1 over 1. Cross multiply. We get 5 root 3 times 1 is 5 root 3. 1 times y is y. So if you look, this is 5 root 3, y is 5 root 3, which makes sense. It's a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. So the side lengths are always going to be the same. Okay, if you saw that before you simplified and did this radical or this ratio, great. If you didn't, no big deal. It took us a couple extra seconds. Okay, so then this one again, write your triangle orientation. Opposite of 45 is 1, opposite of 45 is 1, hypotenuse is always a 2 of some sort, and this one happens to be square root of 2. All right, let's find n. Well, let's do that shortcut we were just talking about. We know that these are the same because it's a 45 degree triangle, right? So 6 is the same thing as n because 1 and 1, those are the same. So we know that n has to be 6. Okay, now let's find m. So we know this guy is 6. Okay, so let's do what we know. So we know 6 over m. And let's set that guy equal to 1 over root 2. cross multiply. M times 1 is M. 6 root 2 is 6 root 2. And you're done.